little nubbin.
Don't nub that.
What? It's just like a little nubbin.
Wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bub.
You make it awkward.
Pretty sure. All right, here we go. Tiny little Glencairns.
Well, good evening. Welcome to another exciting edition of So Into Bourbon. I'm Glenn. This is Charlie. We have a beautiful bottle on the bar tonight. Charlie, tell them what it is.
Tonight we have the newest release from the Jim Beam Distillery. This is Baker's 7-year single barrel high rye.
Can't wait. All right, Baker's High Rye Single Barrel.
Yes.
This is like a special release. I hadn't even heard of this
It's very special.
till we were at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, went into the Jim Beam tent.
And scored, baby. We got
yeah.
Baker's 13 single barrel, which we did a wonderful episode about, and then I drank the rest of it. And now we have this 7-year single barrel high rye, which is 7 years, 9 months old. I don't have any more information to give you than that.
That's what's so interesting about this bottle, because when we went into the tent, you know, we got the 13 year and they were like, hey, do you want the rye? She called it a rye.
She called it a rye.
I think on the little board it said it was a rye.
Yeah, it's not a rye.
It's not a rye, it's a high rye.
It's Baker's high rye. So standard Baker's is 77% corn, 13% rye, and 10% malted barley. This is a high rye, which
No idea what that means.
20% or more would make it a high rye. So I don't know if that
where do
means
you get that information?
the internet. A high rye whiskey, a high rye bourbon is typically considered 20% or higher.
Okay.
So this could be.
But there's no TPP, TTP, what is it? TTP, TTP. There are no, I don't think there are any rules that establish.
There is not. There is not any rule.
Makes it a high rye.
It is just kind of universally, if it's 20% or more. There's a lot of
Warehouse CL-3. It's 107 proof. What else do we know about this?
It's Baker's.
Date barreled 11/2016.
Yeah, and so cool thing about Baker's, and we talked about this in the 13-year episode, is if you go on Baker's website and you enter in all this information, it'll take you on a little ride.
Oh, yeah.
And you get to roll your barrel through, and it tells you all about when your barrel is made. We're drinking out of our tiny Glens tonight because they're Bourbon Festival Glens. And thank you to all the nice people.
What'd you pay for this?
We paid $80.
This looks very light.
It's very light. It's very concerning how light this is.
For a, what is the proof?
107.
For a 7-year 107 proof.
It's very light.
So light.
It is, I don't know how to describe this color. Not pleasant.
Do you think it's,
I don't.
do you think it's just the barrel char?
I don't know.
Like a really
it is
lightly charred barrel?
Yellow. Let's nose.
Sorry, jumping ahead of you.
Nose is good. It's
Nose
got
is good.
nice.
I don't get a lot of.
I was thinking, are we going to get a lot of rye spice on it? And I don't get a lot of rye spice.
I just get a lot of. Go ahead.
Barrel char.
Really?
Yeah, I get a lot of sweet and kind of smoky char.
I'm getting. This is very reminiscent of a standard Jim Beam product for me.
Well, let's see what all the hubbub is about.
See. Cheers.
High rye.
That's very pleasant.
Delightful.
Very pleasant.
Delightful. Oh.
The rye to me comes in on the finish.
Yes.
Like the spice, all the spice comes in on the finish.
Mid-palate finish and just a little tingle. Oh,
Lots
yes.
of sweetness up
Oh,
front.
yes. Yes.
Very pleasant. And I get the barrel char. I didn't really pick it up on the nose, but I get it now. It's very, the looks of it.
Yeah.
I do not portray the
incredibly
taste.
confusing. and I'm sure you can see in the bottle, it doesn't look incredibly light, but when you pour it in a glass, even in a small glass, it's very almost translucent.
Looks like a very high corn, lightly aged.
Yeah, it looks like
whiskey
mellow
to me,
corn.
yeah.
But palate-wise, it's a really good pour. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's got great kind of bourbon character up front, and then you get some spicy rye on the back end and on the finish. I like it. It's very good.
Lots of vanilla.
It's very sweet
light
up front.
fruits,
It's
yeah.
very sweet up front, which I like.
Not what I expect from a baker's, I don't think, but how could we really know?
There's really no way, unless we had a random Baker 7 open.
Gosh, I wish we did.
Ba-bum. That was weird. This is an old Baker's. I've had this around for a long time. And I think we talked about this.
We've used this in several episodes.
We've used it in
haven't we?
several episodes. Baker's is like the forgotten single barrel. You know, they retail for around $50-$60. They're always 7 years older or longer. This one is 8 years and 6 months old. And it's been kind of a go-to for comparison for us for a while.
What?
This is 8 years and 6
Bakers
months.
were 7 years old
Well,
because they're called Bakers 7.
7-year minimum. It says minimum on there.
It actually looks, it's
It's
a little bit a shade darker.
It is a shade darker, but it is
ton.
a year older
Yeah.
too. Let's see what the standard kind of nose is.
Left my water upstairs, Charlie. I can't
You're
palate
effed.
cleanse.
Boy, I feel like those noses are different.
Way different. Now, like you said, this one's been open for a long time, so it's a little
They're different.
muted. Maybe a little oxidation.
The oxidation. They're different though. I mean, they're definitely different. You definitely get more baking spice and spiciness out of the high rye.
I don't get those fruits, those lighter fruit notes on this one.
This is more kind of soft and just kind of standard. I guess we're drinking.
Oh yeah, much more classic bourbon profile, deeper, darker flavors, caramel. This is more vanilla, light fruits, apple. Both very good.
I love that high rye. Man, that high rye is good. But that fits, right? I love high rye.
Yep.
You love rye. That high rye is so different from the standard 7, and it is all in the sweetness up front and that baking spice and just the tingle that it gives your tongue. So I don't know what the rye content is. I would assume it has to be relatively high. And I know there's a big jump between 13 to 20, but from a percentage standpoint, but there is a lot of rye character in that.
There really is, and I feel like it's a great balance. I feel like these bigger distilleries are starting to realize that people are getting into rye more, and maybe they're not ready to just cross over into straight rye, but now they want higher rye content. You've got the Knob Creek Burr Rye or Rye Burr, whatever they call it. It's a high rye bourbon. Would like to get my hands on that. I saw one the other day. I should have picked it up. Would love to compare these two. Both bean products.
Yeah, I like releases that make sense. This makes total sense to me.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, what if we changed the mash bill of Baker's and we put a little more rye in the mash bill? How would that affect it? We'll still keep it a single barrel. We'll still make it 7+ years old. Let's see what it does. It does that, and it's great.
Yeah, I don't know what the future holds for this. If this is a release that they plan on continuing, or if it's a one-time thing, or maybe it's, hey, let's run it up the flagpole and see what people say.
Well, if our vote counts for anything, we like it. Should we rate it?
Yeah, let's rate it.
Okay.
You go first. I'm not falling for that again.
It's a 3.5. That's all I know. I got to tell you, I really like this one. at $80, and I think that's around what it's going to retail for. $80, single barrel high rye. I like it. It's proofed right, 107 proof. I'll give this a very, very solid 7.5.
I don't like giving it the same score, but that's exactly what I had in my head.
Yeah.
7.5. 7.5.
And I feel like it checks all the boxes. It is not an everyday drinker bourbon at $80, but it is a nice addition. And especially if you're a fan of Beam and like that mash bill and like what they do.
Love the nose. You can tell it's a Beam product.
Yeah. It's love the nose on it. It's a really good bottle. 7.5 easily. And if you haven't checked out just standard Old Bakers, grab a bottle of that too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's wrap this baby up. Charlie, why don't you tell them how they can find us on social media?
If you like more hard-hitting content like this, make sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube and follow us on our socials. So Into Bourbon at Facebook, Instagram, and Whiskey Realtor on TikTok.
And as always, don't forget to keep those wallets loose.
And your bungholes tight.
Tight.
Good night, everybody.
That was creepy. Peace out.
You made it creepy. Baker.
I like how you get all weird, by the way, when I tell you I bought some lighting and then you buy an $850 swatch. You know what a swatch is? Or is that too...
I know what a squatch is.
Is that before your time?
I know what a squatch is. Action!
I need a massage. Can you... No? Action. Here we go. What is this? Baker's High Rye Single Barrel, right?
We have not taken a picture of this yet.
Oh, we haven't? Shit. You would think that you're the old guy.
I'm not the old guy.
I know.
I have a clamshell thumb.
People would think. People would say.
I got an old soul. Were we recording through all of that? That's great. Action.